All right, everyone, welcome back to another Dr. Honda video. Today we are going to be changing our engine oil and the engine oil filter. So let's get this thing pulled into the garage. We'll get it on some ramps and we'll go over how to change your own oil at home. All right, so we're going to get the car moving up and onto our Rhino ramps. I'll leave the link in the description where you can pick some of those up. And that way we have more access to change our oil. I personally do not fit under the vehicle without these ramps, so I definitely need them. Maybe if you're skinnier you will, but it's a little bit of a tight squeeze. And once we're up here, we do want to make sure the vehicle is stable, so we're going to put some brakes behind the tires. Wheel chocks work even better, but just for safety. Next, now that we're up in the air, we're going to start taking off the little skid plate on the bottom. So regular Phillips screwdriver works fine, a flathead as well for some of the pieces. Save all your screws somewhere so we don't lose them. Just lefty-loosey, get them all out. And once they're out, this skid plate will just slide back towards the back of the car and come out really nice. So these screws right here are just going to be a little quarter turn, the ones on the sides. So flathead goes in, just a bit of a turn, and it just pops out like that. Super easy. Different from the ones in the rear and the front kind of have a lot of threads, and the ones on the sides are just quarter turn and they pop out. So here's the Phillips head screws in the back, and just get them all the way threaded out, and then we'll be good to go from there. Okay, and here we are at the last screw. Plate slides off towards the back, and we now have access to our oil filter right here. And we can see the engine oil plug screw right over here. So easy access, and now we'll be able to drain our oil. So this is my old Valvoline filter. Kind of regret going there, but they had a deal. And we're gonna get our oil pan lined up underneath this screw here so that we can drain all that used oil. So let's get that going. Before we do that, we are gonna open the lid right here. So as you can see, SAE OW20, that's the oil that we're gonna be replacing. Pop that open. Now we're gonna get our 17mm nut wrench. And we'll go ahead and put it right there and start loosening it up gently. Watch out for oil that's going to pour out. So we're just going to release the tension there, and we're going to get the rest of it with our hand. And 3, 2, 1, oil. So we're gonna let all this dirty black oil drain into our pan here. Watch it all pour down into our compartment. I'll leave a link where you can get one of these drain pans as well on Amazon. I do the 16-quart one just so that there's no chance of overflow and backing up, and that it just goes down easier when there's a lot more space. So we're gonna just let it sit there until all of this is gone. As that drains, the arc is going to decrease, so just make sure your pan fits that entire distance so you don't get any spillage. All right, while that's going on, we're going to clean up our screw and put on a new crush washer so that we can tighten it back in. Then we'll go remove and swap out the oil filter, and then after that, start pouring in the new oil. So once that's all done, we'll go ahead and put that screw back in. So we'll start tightening by hand till it gets nice and snug. Then we'll go back in with the wrench and just do a little quarter turn to get it snug and torqued. If you have a torque wrench, that would be nice, but it's not a big deal. Just make it tight and we're good. don't want to overdo it because you will strip your oil pan. But yeah, pretty easy. Just a little turn and it's tight. So we got an oil filter wrench here. Gonna go around and get this off. Valvoline way over tightened it onto my car right here, so it was a bit of a struggle to get this thing off. Supposed to be hand tightened. I'm not sure what they did, but it took a lot of strength to get this off right here. And we'll make sure to put it back on the right way so we don't have this issue in the future. Also earlier, not sure if you guys noticed, but they did not insert some of my screws all the way in when we were removing the base plate of the vehicle. So just be wary of these shops. They're just trying to get you in and out as fast as they can. If you can do it yourself and you have the space, no one's going to take better care of your vehicle than you are. All right, so now that this is loose, we got the oil pouring out. We'll let that kind of go into that same pan. And once that's all kind of drained and it stops dripping, we'll get that filter out all the way. There we go, and once this comes out, we are just gonna let the rest of it finish draining before we insert our new filter. Again, not super big fan of Valvoline anymore, but I just needed an oil change right then. Okay, so for our new oil, we got Mobil 1 OW20, we got the full synthetic, and we got the Mobil 1 M1-110A filter. And those are both extended use, so they're gonna get us a lot of miles. Even then, I'll probably still change it every 5,000, but it's nice to have better quality stuff in your vehicle, and you can just feel the difference in this product compared with the Valvoline one. It's just heavier, stronger, more premium feel. We're just gonna put a little fresh oil around the lips so that we get a tight sealed fit. And we're gonna go ahead and screw it in now that all the oil's done draining. And we're just gonna hand tighten this, get it on all the way, and then just, a little quarter turn, get it snug. Do not use the wrench at this point to install this, only hand tighten. Now that the plug is back and the filter is back, we're gonna start pouring in our oil. For the Honda CR-V 2-liter hybrid, we're gonna do about 4.2 quarts. And if you're running the turbo, the gas version, it's going to be a bit less. I'll leave the amounts in the description, or you can just look them up online, but make sure to pour in only what your engine needs. These bottles come in about 5 quarts, I believe, so we only need 4.2, so don't pour the entire thing in there. Now that we're done, we're going to check and make sure the oil level is where it needs to be. We're going to look at those 2 little metal dashes at the end of the stick. Ignore the 2 orange lumps that are higher up. We're going to want to make sure it's between those, and here we have it just up to the top. It's a little hard to see. All right, so now that that's filled up, we will go ahead and put all of our plugs and screws back in to get our little skid plate back on. And the screws on the side are going to be the flathead ones, the quarter turns, and those will just pop into place and go back with the flathead to tighten them all the way. And then the ones in the front and the rear, they're going to be the Phillips head. That'll have the threads, so those will take a lot more turns. And finally, we're going to pour all that used oil back into our original bottle. You can see how dark that stuff is. We'll take that back to AutoZone for recycling or wherever they dump it and get rid of it. But do not dump in your neighborhood. Please take it back to the center. And you can see that dark oil, so there was exactly 4 quarts in there. The last 0.2 were probably in the filter. But look at all that dark sludge. Okay, now we want to reset our maintenance binder. Here we have our oil life at 60%. We have a couple codes going off, B127. You find this section in the maintenance. You can use your little spinny wheel on the steering wheel to get here. The B is for the oil. The 1, I believe, is tire rotations. 2 is going to be engine air filter replacement, cabin air filter. And then the 7 is going to be my brake fluid. So we'll have to get some of those other things done as well. So we want to reset the B and swap it to A. So we will go into here, and you'll get into this menu by holding down that button, the little wheel on the left of your steering wheel, for about 10 seconds, and it'll bring up the reset menu. And now we'll scroll down until we find what we want, which is going to be item B only. We don't want to reset everything because we want those minders, so we make sure we get the other stuff done. So now that we got B, we'll go ahead and click it in, and you just need one click, and it'll pop up with a little note that will say that the item was reset. And there we go. Reset completed. So now it is set to A, and our oil life is 100%. So now our minder is complete. And I'll go ahead and note down the mileage on my vehicle in my little notepad so that I know when the oil change was completed. And we'll have a complete log history of all of our oil changes. And now I just got to go get those other ones done. I already did the tire rotation, so I'll reset that too. And the brake fluid I probably won't do on my own, but we'll get that done at the dealership just because it's a little bit more time intensive. All right, thank you guys for watching. We have successfully completed our engine oil replacement and topped it off. Super inexpensive to do on your own. The mobile one was about $27 at Walmart. The filter was about 10 bucks at Walmart. And compared to the shop, it's gonna be $129 at the local Honda dealership and around about $100 at the Valvoline. So 40 bucks to do it yourself is way better. Doesn't take too long. You can do the whole thing in about 15 minutes or so if you've done it before. First time might take a little longer. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate all the support on previous videos. Please let me know what other content you would like to see.